Hello, my beauties. I am so glad to be back sitting in the BodPod seat. I missed you all so much, and I've been busting to get my first pod for 2026 up and going. Of course, family life and school holidays, it has been a shit show. So, here I am, but better late than never. And it's worth the wait because I've got some delicious stuff to talk to you about today. I have been overthinking as usual, but mostly in a good way about all the crazy, awesome things that I want to bring to you and to I on our journey of empowerment for 2026. This is our year, baby. This is our year. It's going to be freaking epic. There's so much good stuff for us to really dive into. And I've got a lot of structure for this year that I'm going to bring to the BodPod, as well as big news. I'm going to start doing some in-person events. I've had a lot of you reach out to say that you'd love to work through like a workshop situation with me. And I couldn't agree more. In fact, I would really find that so energizing. Whenever I speak to women in the community about body pos, or about body positivity, or about women's empowerment and confidence, it just sets fire to my heart in the best way. And so I thought, what a great thing if I could really connect with people in a group setting directly, and really chew through some of these situations we find ourselves in and how we can reframe our minds to bring us freedom and liberation from the constraints of society. So that is epic and awesome, and there's more to come, so watch this space. So, kicking off the year, January, it always feels a bit weird. It's one of those you kind of don't know what day it is, months where you've had a bit of a break out of routine and you're starting off again and you feel all of a sudden already overwhelmed with all of the things. You might have a family starting school, you might be coming back to work, you might be kicking off on your new 2026 goals, and it can all be a little bit of a slap in the face. So I feel like if we just take a few breaths and try to postpone any big picture objectives until February at least, and leave January as a time for us to just kind of swallow the environment and just be readying ourselves for what is always a fast-paced and hectic year ahead. I really do feel 2026 is going to be our best year yet. It's just there's something in the wind this year. The last 5 years, because of all of the world, our environmental factors, has been really fucking hectic. And whether we know it or not, we do experience a type of trauma when the world is happening around us, out of our control. The empathetic people, such as myself, we tend to feel a lot of emotion. And it's been a rough roller coaster, but the sun has come out this year. I feel like there's going to be a lot of things shifting in a better way. And I'm really going to strap in for that. And I'm going to kind of keep that as my anthem. This is my year. I have so many amazing things I want to have a crack at, put myself out there for. And yeah, as part of my rule of living deeply, I'm not going to be too concerned about it. I'm just going to fucking run at the bull, baby. And I invite you to run at your bull too, with a helmet on if you can. One thing I do want to ask up front is this year I really want to work on getting this pod out there. And if you have been listening to our previous episodes last year, and if this is something that brings you value, I would just love it if you could comment on the videos. Let me know what you liked. Give me some feedback or a question you want me to look up. Just because with Spotify and YouTube, obviously, as you know, it's an algorithm reach. The more interactions I have, the greater reach they'll give me and the better platform I have to keep spreading the good word about our Lord and Savior, women's empowerment. So yeah, please, if you could take a bit of time to do that, I would be so grateful. It is actually really helpful for me, really helpful. So a bit of life lately. Through the holidays, it wasn't too bad, actually. I had a pretty amazing time. Before I left you last year, I was mentioning how I was worried about my sobriety, how it's a really tough time of year to stay sober. There's a lot of celebrations that are usually done so in an alcohol environment, and that is fine. But because I choose to live a sober life, it's very difficult because I so want to partake. And it can be rough. So I'm pleased to say that I mostly stayed sober, mostly. All of the big events, I was really good. I had a Christmas party. That was actually the first cab off the rank, my first event, and that was fucking hard. And I almost caved. We were at the pub, we were playing pool, we'd had lunch. It was so much fun. We were laughing, and I just wanted to cut sick a bit. I just wanted to, enjoy the buzz like my friends, and I was so close. I actually said to Mr. Rosie, like, we should just get a drink, and he was like, no. I did come prepared though. I'd taken some THC oil before going down there, which is marijuana oil, and it hadn't really had any effect on me, and yeah, the craving for alcohol was massive. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like a freight train, I was stoned out of my brain. And I was giggling and I was saying just the most ridiculous stuff. And I just let my hair down that way, and I really enjoyed it. It's not something I do regularly, but as an alternative, it was my first try. It's not bad. If I wanted to go to a situation and get my buzz on, I didn't mind it. It was, I definitely felt stoned. And then about 2 hours later, I was completely fine again. No hangover, no munchies or anything like that. I didn't smoke a bug or anything. Although I did used to love a good bong, but no bongs. It was just a little drop of THC oil, and it was quite elegant way to party, if you will. Not for everyone, but you know what? I had a good time. The next things, so we dropped our kids off to grandma's, and we had a few kid-free days, and it just so happened that afternoon someone dropped a thank you present to my door, which had little bottles of margarita in it. Through no fault, they just were saying thank you. And before I knew it, Mr. Rosie was popping it in the blender, and he's like, kids are gone, come on, we'll be right. And I was like, oh, fuck, all right, let's just have a bit. And of course, it doesn't work that way. Once you crack that sweet, sweet marg, you're done for, baby. And I was. So we sat out the back, and, about once or twice a year, Mr. Rosie and I do this. We cut sick together when the kids are gone, and we drink and we smoke cigarettes and we talk shit. And we end up screaming rock and roll System of a Down and Sublime into each other's faces, very sloppily, but at the time we're deeply immersed in love, and we did that. That was fun. I immediately, in my marg buzz, I knew I was going to be cranky at myself, but I just decided to just let it go. And we didn't have that. We're pretty lightweight these days. I think we had 4 very stiff drinks each, which was definitely enough. But old school me, that would have set me off on a bender. I would have been looking for more and more and more, especially because the kids were gone. So I'm proud of myself because I did pull up. And there was something different. When I was done, and I didn't have the thirsty demon. So not saying that that's now something I want to test, but in conclusion, it was okay. We then did our family events over Christmas and New Year's, and completely fine, no cravings. Actually, it was so busy and so hot with the kids that there was little room for me to have those moments where you're sitting in the sun or your favorite song plays or you're having a giggle with someone. It was all so busy that I just... the beast didn't appear much. So I still call it a win. One little slip, yes, but it's still a win. I'm still happy. I'm not going to punish myself about it. I'm still confident in my decision of a sober life. And it looked very different to many, many other Christmases I've had, ones I don't remember at all, ones where I've, been a complete mess. So this is still a beautiful win. I'm definitely happy. Preceding Christmas, the family got COVID. So all the exhaustion from the kids being on holidays at grandma's, coming home, back to back, Christmas, Boxing Day, boom, COVID. So that was not fun. I was okay. Poor Mr. Rosie was absolutely delulu, bedridden. It was not good. And the kids, they had ebbs and flows, but I at one point had to keep a medicine register because I couldn't remember who I'd given what over the 3 sick people in the house. So it was exhausting too. And then we headed straight into the beginning of January where Mr. Rosie went back to work. Our business had one of the biggest events that we have for printing our shirts. So It was a break, but as usual, when you have a young family, holidays aren't exactly restful. It was a lot. That being said, it's done now, and we're in the middle of January, and there's a lot more calm. And I feel grateful for our messy, chaotic life, even in the moments where everyone was needing mummy during that COVID week, and I was just beside myself with exhaustion because the kids were up all night, and I was tending to everyone and nursing my own minor version of COVID. But, you know, how beautiful is it to be needed? And although it was tough, I felt grateful for my role of caregiver, the people who sought comfort from me. And I tried to remember that, even though at the time my eyes were hanging out of my head and I could have stabbed someone, I kept trying to bring myself back to that beauty. And that was difficult, but I did it and it was nice. So bringing us back to the first week of January, where I live, we have a festival called the Elvis Festival, and it's on the first weekend of January, usually the 8th of January it starts, which is the hottest week of the year, usually in our town. And I was doing stock take for BodPod, getting ready for our year ahead and planning, and I have a lot of stock that I had pre-printed for markets or that I had done a few runs, like limited edition runs, and I also had all of our activewear that I haven't been moving, that had been on clearance. And I just thought, I really need to do something to push this all along. And I thought, oh my God, Elvis Festival's on. I'll set up something and I'll sell them out of my boot, or I'll do something. The traffic here is incredible. The tourism just peaks. It's an insane opportunity. And so I got a harebrained scheme, as I usually do. Couldn't do anything else until I did it. So I promptly went on a reconnaissance mission downtown and scoped out some of the empty shops down in the main street. Much as other rural towns in New South Wales, we have a lot of empty shop fronts. I went to 3 or 4 real estates and was like, hey, last minute, Bart, could I pop up shop in these areas? Lo and behold, someone came good for me. And for a pretty expensive price tag, I rented a shop front off the main street up the way a bit in the village square for $500 for the week. They said I'd have to get power connected. I called the electricity company. They told me it was a couple $100 to connect, plus power, then disconnection fee. And I was like, stuff that. So I decided to just do it unpowered. And lo and behold, next minute, I'm stashing all of our stuff into the back of our ute and taking it down to this disgustingly dusty, empty shop front. All thinking, yes, this will be incredible. Yay, oh my God, how much fun. Look at me. I'm a grown-up. I've got a shop. It was, quite quirky for the first little while. The temperature forecast was 41 for the weekend. And yeah, but that wasn't going to deter me. I was like, bugger it, I'll be right. It's not west-facing and, she'll be good. She'll be right. Anyway, so I get down there and I have the most wonderful time setting up, loving life. And the festival starts on Thursday, and I get down there and I arrange the kids for daycare, and I get down and sit in my little chair with my little till. And yeah, the people start coming past and going past and walking past and not coming in or sticking their heads in and leaving. And I was like, oh, okay. And as the day went on, very, very minimal people. I had, I think, 2 or 3 ladies come in and buy a shirt each. And I was like, oh, maybe, it's not the main part of the festival. Maybe the tourists aren't here yet. So I had an A-frame sign down on the main street and another sign as well. But I was starting to shit my pants a bit. Then the lady next door to me, who's a florist, she said, why don't you sell water bottles? Because then, they'll see the sign that says cheap water bottles, and they don't want to wait at the cafes. They'll come up and then they'll be in your shop. And I was like, oh, brilliant idea. So the next morning I was like, right, set up the esky, put on some more signs, and yeah, try to lure them in with the water. So I did that, but lo and behold, the day went on, lots of people coming past, looking in. The shop I was in used to be a tobacconist, and there was tobacco stickers still on the window. I had 3 or 4 people come in and ask for durries. And yeah, they weren't interested in anything I had. yeah, so I started to freak out and I was like, what the fuck have I done? I'm an idiot. Why did I do this? People are here to see Elvis. They don't want this shit. And also my target market, it's not, the people who went to see Elvis, the diehard days of the glory rock and roll, they're not really into activewear, I don't think. And I started to really question myself and I started to get into a really bad tizzy. I was like, fucking hell, like, you idiot. What have you done? This year I've lost a lot of money in marketing. The year before I lost even more in marketing. BodPod historically has never made a profit except for very recently, which is normal, but it's a lot and it's very nerve-wracking. And I don't like to discuss it because it feels like a failure, but it's not. However, my inner critic started to flare up, saucy bitch she is, and just be like, what the fuck did you do that for? Why? Why couldn't you sit still? You could be at home in the aircon. Like, what are you doing? And I really started to think, that I'd just a lot of expenditure for no return. And I started to feel grim, very grim. But within that time, people from the BodPod community had been popping in. And at first it was lovely, but then it was consistent. So first off, a lady just rocked up with 3 battery-powered fans for me. She just said, I saw you were down here. I brought these to keep you cool. I was like, oh my God, thank you. Next minute, another lady rocks up and she's like, I printed you off some signage to help sell the water bottles for you. Oh my God, thank you. And then again, all of these friendly faces, women who are repeat buyers in my local community, kept popping in and buying shirts. I know that they've got a butt ton of BodPod shirts, and here they are buying more bloody shirts and activewear. And I began to see the win and see the love, and that these people, they saw that I took the risk and that it was flailing and I was flopping and I was, feeling regretful, and they came and they lifted me up. And I feel emotional talking about it again because when you feel, it can be isolating, I suppose, and you'll understand this. If you're someone that has low self-esteem, you do feel quite isolated and no one quite understands. And I put myself out there because my mission is that the things that turn my self-criticism around and help me, in the back of my mind, I think this could help someone else. And the type of person I am in my heart is to share that. And that's what I'm doing with BodPod. I'm vulnerable. I'm being vulnerable. I'm showing up saying I have, really bad self-love issues, and I always have. But I have found things that really resonate and they help me propel and do amazing things. And I want to share it. I want to raise up the other women and share what makes, if it can make me, who has been crippled my whole life by this evil blanket of self-doubt, if it can help me, it can help another. And so I'm going to talk. And that's what I do. But it can be isolating because I'm putting myself online, I'm showing up, and if I fail publicly. And that's a hard thing to swallow. And half the time I do like a reel or something and I get excited because I just want to share the good stuff. But then afterwards I get this wave of regret and anxiety because I'm like, I'm going to be judged. People won't like it. People will judge me. I live in a small community. People will see me and know my stuff. But I do it anyway because it's so rewarding. Vulnerability is a freaking superpower. And I was sitting there in my pity party pop-up, and these angels just kept arriving and supporting me, and it just blew my freaking mind. I couldn't believe it. So actually the pop-up, although the profit, I ended up breaking even because of the angels. On the third day I made rent, and then the next day I sold another couple and I made a couple $100, I think $200, which outlays the water bottles and the sticky tape and the Windex and shit that I'd bought. But, you call it a profit's a profit, whether it be $1 or whatever it was. But I felt so satisfied and happy and content with the situation. The win was massive because I felt my community. I saw my community. And also some people I'd never met that were local came in just to meet me. they said stuff like, I've seen you online. I love your stuff. I love your shirts. You know, I wanted to talk to you. And I was just like, yes, queen. Like, let's talk. A lady brought in her daughter, a teenage daughter, and said, just wanted you to meet her. Like, unbelievable. And see, these things, the reach that I have, I don't understand until something like this happens. So it was a roller coaster, but completely inspiring, and the fire in my heart is ignited, and all the more reason for me to start planning some more in-person events with the topics that I love around vulnerability being a superpower, around learning about how our experiences shape our perspective, and that, you know, the skinny is pretty rule is something that has been learned, but it's not the fucking reality. It's not true, babe. You know, growth mindsets, believing that we can be happy even if we can't do it in the moment. Believing that we can be a confident version of ourselves, telling ourselves it's possible, and ever so slowly as we need, moving toward that goal till you turn around and notice that you're a fucking badass. All of these things I've broken down into tools and methods and discussions to have with you, and these things I'm going to bring to you. I'm going to do my absolute best to polish it and make it digestible so that these tools can be brought to all of the women so that they can not spend another moment shrinking or feeling guilty or feeling a veil of sadness because they're unable to live to their potential, because they're always feeling like they're not good enough. Fucking done with that, babe. We are done with that. I am not shrinking anymore. I am loud and proud. This is me. This is my life. It's my beautiful life. And if I've got 12 months left, God forbid, I'm going to know that every day for the next 12 months, I'm going to live deliciously deeply. I am going to bring my best self every day. I'm going to wear whatever the fuck I want. I'm going to say no to the things I don't want. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to eat the good food. I'm going to laugh and love. And that's it. That's me. That is my goal. And I'm going to bring it, and I'm going to support my beautiful community and help them do the same. Yeah, so a lot of lessons learnt with my pity pop-up that ended up being a perfection pop-up. It was wonderful, all in all. On the final day, Mr. Rosie came to help me pack up shop. And as we're packing up, he noticed that there was a little LED on the aircon unit. And I'd gone in and checked the light like switches a couple times, flicked them on and off. Definitely no power. And he's like, did you check a power point? And I'm like, no. I'd run a power cord to the shop next door for a small period while the florist was there and borrowed some of her power for a few hours on one of the days. And he's like, okay. He plugged the fucking fan in and it went off. It was on. The power point was on. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And then he's like, boop, on the aircon unit. Next minute, the dust starts flying and the aircon's turned on. Beautiful, strong, cold air conditioning. I was like shocked. He was beside himself in laughter, and I was just like, shut the fuck up. It's been a rough few days. So we enjoyed the aircon while we packed up. And yeah, all I could do was laugh. And it was funny, but it was kind of like, come on. Anyway, so note to self, check the PowerPoints. Yeah. But yeah, my takeaway is that I'm here to be real. I'm not here to make money. I'm here for the emotional support of the women who need it. I want to make money because I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to build something substantial and I want to be able to reach more women. And of course, you know, I want to be successful. So yeah, money is important. The profit is important. But making profit so far has been really fucking hard and it's been a difficult lesson. But getting love and getting the true outcome of the brand, which is the conversations around women's body positivity and confidence and empowerment, that is working. It's working. And so that's my fucking dream come true. Woo! So, yeah, I spoke a little bit before about, being vulnerable in front of camera here on this podcast and on my channels. Like I am no therapist. I don't have any tertiary education in supporting people from a mental well-being point of view. I am someone that's, as they say, come from the school of hard knocks. I've lived it, and I'm never going to try to be a polished professional and give you solid theoretical advice. But what I have done is I've been on a fucking journey, and I don't know why, but my heart wants to spread the love that I've always gravitated toward supportive roles. I'm a certified youth mentor. I've always taken on careers that involve supporting others in one way or another. Within my peer group, I like to think I'm a supportive person, a supportive friend. It's just something that when someone is, I can see someone who's flailing, I become this mother bear. Something in me sets fire, and I want to raise them up. And that is one of the first pillars of my own self journey was when I became sober and I started to find my way to find empathy and compassion for myself. I could see my issues that I had just gotten through. I could see them in other people. I could see young women. I could see middle-aged women and older women. And whenever we went through the discussion of themselves, their own self-value or confidence, it was always empty, lacking, crippling. And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, this is a national crisis. Like, why are all the women hating on themselves so fiercely? Like, we are fierce to ourselves. It's awful. I'm like, I can't fucking stand it. I can't stand by and watch this. And the things that had helped me move through my own self-hatred, I just wanted to tell them things that had resonated with me. I truly believe that if you hear the right information at the right time, even one sentence, it can have a profound effect on your life. And so I'd been reading books, I'd been listening to podcasts, I'd been watching different videos, and I thought, oh, maybe I could tell them that thing that really resonated with me. You know, maybe I can do this, maybe I can do that. And then the idea started to grow, and I thought, oh, I need a way, I need an outlet. And I thought of a bunch of different things, and I've mentioned this in a previous podcast. Back way before we had the ability to print t-shirts, I started writing a book about self-help to try to deliver what I'd been through. If it could help another woman, just one woman, I was thinking I could do like an ebook on Amazon. I recorded a course, like a video course thing that I tried to put up on a platform called Skillshare. It didn't work in the end, but I've been trying to get this platform to reach women, to share my journey and the things that helped me with them for quite some time. Then I printed a shirt one day that said more self-love, and the way it made me feel, I knew immediately that this was my platform. The shirt, when I put it on, I felt unstoppable. I felt like I didn't give a fuck about being judged that day. That it was like a superhero cape I put on. It's like when you're 5 and you put on your Batman outfit and you feel like fucking Batman. It was exactly like that. And I had a light bulb moment. This was it. So that's why BodPod became a clothing brand. I had the ability to print, and I found a way to print shirts that could help women. But then, through my content of selling my shirts, more conversations happened and more women connected with me for the why and their stories. And then I realized that here was a way for me to extend this into a full ecosystem. Shirts, channels, short form content, long form content. The world is my freaking oyster, baby. But within this journey, it also meant that I had to really fucking dig deep and show up. And this vulnerability, it's scary. And taking risks publicly is scary. My family's finances, my failures, the spelling errors on my content because I'm trying to put posts up in between bathing my kids and not burning the chicken and feeling like a freaking idiot, or people stopping me in the street and asking me about something personal, and me having to think, how the fuck do you know that? And then and then feeling like, ooh, why did I say that? Or people worrying if I'm okay when I talk about the bad days. Like, it takes a toll, but it's okay because the reward is so great. And I want to show you that being vulnerable is only powerful because I'm showing up as real. I am not polished. I'm just a woman. I'm a very average woman. But the difference is I am prepared to be vulnerable because my need to help you outweighs my worry. And I need to put my money where my mouth is. And at the end of the day, if you're going to judge me, well, fuck you. Because I don't give a fuck anymore. I am who I am, and I'm not wasting any more time. I'm not wasting any more time trying to turn myself into somebody that I'm not. This is my body. These are my titties. This is my vagina. This is my face. These are my wrinkles. These are my crooked teeth. And this is my heart. And you can take it or leave it, but I'm ready to live my life. Damn it. And I invite you to do the same. Wow. Right. So, yeah, I feel like the version that feels the most fragile is actually the most powerful, because there's nothing more powerful than truly understanding who you are and backing it 100%. No more wavering or swaying or giving your power of value to other people. You need to know who you are, girl, and you need to back it 100%. And then life will open up for you. And I will be here to support you through it. That shit's fucking epic. And that's why 2026 is our year. Yeah. So, yeah, I know it's hard to step into these outrageous new ideals and ways of being, particularly when you've been trying to hide most of your life for safety and trying to hide from scrutiny. And I'm not saying you should go out and be like eccentric and blary unless that's who you are. But what I'm saying is don't hide away your beautiful self. And we need to remember that building confidence is not something we need to just do immediately the next day. I'm not saying get in a fucking bikini and go and do a lap of the main. But we need to truly believe in our guts that change and confidence and that version of us, it's possible. You have to know that she is there. She's inside waiting. And you need to say, I see you, baby. And I'm ready for you to come out to the surface when you're ready. And just believe that it's possible. It's possible for you to ask for the next promotion. It's possible for you to speak up when you feel like people are taking the piss out of you. It's possible for you to have difficult conversations with loved ones, even though they might be disappointed or judgy. Fuck that. It's possible for you to be able to stand up for yourself. You need to believe that that's true. And then one day you'll just do it. I promise. So I look forward to that day for you, and I hope it's soon. And together we'll get there. This year, through the podcast, through wearing your superhero cape t-shirts, and through our live events, this is all built as an ecosystem to support you to get there, my darling. And we will. So, heading in to 2026, just strap in for the ride because it's going to be fucking brilliant. All right. Well, I will speak to you all next week. BodPod is scheduled for a weekly thing this year, if I can keep up. And yeah, so please comment and share the pod because the purpose is to help others. And I'm sure you know a woman who could do with some love that I can give. So please share the podcast. Please like it and comment it. I know that you think, oh, someone will. She'll be right. I need you to do it. I really do because I can't get reach unless you do. Otherwise, the algorithm assumes that it's shit and yeah, then it won't go anywhere. So help me take off. Help me bring you more good stuff and fiddle with my bits. That was not scripted. And what I mean is like, comment or share and subscribe. And on that note, I'm going to go. Mwah.